Tell us a story.
Yes, tell us a story.
Alrighty. It's a little wet out there. It's been raining pretty much all night, but it's about 49, 50 degrees, so it's not too bad. When I was a kid, as they all start out, my grandparents, my mother's grandparents, my grandfather, about the fishing stories, they lived in Marysville, Ohio. And they literally lived on the wrong side of the tracks. I don't know whether it was the wrong side or not, but they just lived on the other side of the tracks from the main part of town. And on that side of the railroad tracks, their house was actually built on top of the old city dump. So in the 40s, when the house was built, the dump was closed down. In the 20s and 30s. It got so full, and then they started taking trash someplace else. And the town run, which is basically an open sewer that used to run directly through, kind of around, right by their house. Their house was built on one side of it. The town dump was on the other side of it, and it was an open sewer. When you flushed a toilet, if you had flush toilets, it went right into the sewer. They didn't have flush toilets in that grandparents' house until 1972. We had an outhouse until then. So, as the youngest child staying there, when I was staying there, one of my first duties was to, in the evening, to make sure that the chamber pot for the entire household, especially in wintertime, because trust me, you did not want to go out to an outhouse and sit on an ice cold slab, and it was cold, so that the chamber pot was cleaned and had a drop of bleach in it or whatever for the night. And then in the morning, my job was to get up, take the chamber pot, take it down the path, past the garage, around the back, and put it and dump it into the outhouse. All right. I've thought this my entire life, how a small group of people, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people, could poop and pee so much in a 12-hour period from like, let's say, well, they went to bed early back then, but 6, 7, 8 till 6, 7, 8 the next morning. That thing weighed a ton. It was heavy, and heaven forbid you slop anything out of that jar. So my job was to take it out there, and I have always thought how many people could actually take and fill up a chamber pot that much during the night. So I did that, and one of the other things I remember about that place was, since it was basically built on top of the dump, I used to wander over to the other, what they called the lot, which was just across the town run, and dig through the sides of the banks slightly and everything. They always yelled at me, quit digging, quit messing stuff up, because they were always afraid during floods, and it used to flood at least once or twice a year and flood into the house. So you had the open sewer flooding into the house. They had at least once or twice a year. I used to dig into those banks and stuff when I was up there, and you would find everything and anything that people threw away. Old medicine bottles, antique bottles, cups, saucers, dishes, car parts. I used to go through there and get a little bit every year and then sell them at garage sales. People used to buy those bottles up. Medicine bottles, small medicine bottles to a rather large medicine bottle. They still had the old rubber corks in them and stuff. It was just amazing. So those were pennies. If I had all that stuff now, it'd be worth a tremendous amount of money. But like I said, this was back in the mid 60s, early 70s. So, well, those are some of the things that I remembered about my grandparents. I've got other stories on that too, about things that either I found or things that happened there. Some of them before I was born. I've got stories when my mom was a girl there, and what they used to do to make ends meet during WW2, when my grandfather was away in World War II, and some of the stories and stuff that they had to do to make ends meet there. So, well, we're going to get in. We're going to see if, yep, it's going to be a good day. You take care of you, I'll take care of me. I hope everything works out. See ya!
Story time is over!
Damn, that was annoying.